Turning now to the latest stunning developments in the Ken Paxton impeachment trial. This morning, the defense will begin presenting its case, but it comes after a big mistake from the prosecution.
Yeah, day 7 brought a lot of twists and turns down in Austin, as Jason Wheeler has been there from the beginning of this case, and he joins us from the state's capital with more.
To be honest with you, we're not quite sure what to expect in the Ken Paxton impeachment trial when it resumes today. Yesterday was the wildest one so far. We saw a big apparent mistake made by the prosecution, a big surprise from the defense. There was also, though, key testimony that happened and some key testimony that didn't.
Your Honor, at this time, the House of Managers rest.
A late-in-the-day surprise from the prosecution that seemed to be a surprise to them, too.
I messed up.
In an apparent procedural misstep, they rested their case against Ken Paxton, and suddenly it was the defense's turn to present and to surprise, too.
We filed a motion for directed verdict.
Saying the prosecution hadn't sufficiently proven the case, they announced they'd seek a snap vote to dismiss the 16 articles of impeachment, but then changed their minds. The whipsaw developments came at the end of what you could call Bribery Wednesday.
What was the time and date of when the general instructed his trustee to pay for his home renovations?
September 30th.
Even though the defense showed that Ken Paxton paid for work on his home in 2020, the prosecution argued that metadata showed that the remodeling invoice was created the day after he paid and after his staff's suspicions had boiled over.
What date that invoice was created?
October 1st, 2020 at 7:50 p.m. Central Standard Time.
After the whistleblowers, after he knows that you're aware of the renovations, after a cease and desist, after directing payment, only after all of those things does he get the first piece of documentation that would in any way credit that it was valid. I guess I'll end where the defense began. There are no coincidences in Austin.
Paxton's former aide testified that on 3 occasions, the home contractor said he'd have to check with Paxton's donor friend, Nate Paul, about what remodeling was being requested, at the very time Paxton's office was helping Nate Paul on several legal matters.
It felt as though there might be an inappropriate relationship there.
The testimony on the bribery impeachment article, though, was not followed as expected by Paxton's alleged mistress taking the stand. Prosecutors have said Nate Paul employed her so she could be closer to Paxton, but she left for the day, apparently cleared from having to appear at all.
Well, win or lose, suspended Attorney General Ken Paxton already has plans to discuss the trial. He actually posted on X that he'll sit down with Tucker Carlson next week in Maine. He said it should be interesting. Those are his words, when the two discuss the last 2 weeks in Texas politics. You can follow along with our live streaming coverage of the trial this morning, starting at 8:30. Investigative reporter Tanya Iser and a panel of political and legal experts are giving us insight and analysis. You can watch on WFAA Plus, or you can go and pick it up on WFAA.com or YouTube if you're out and about.